morning, everyone. Good. Richardson, Chancellor of the Penn State Lehigh Valley campus. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to the 2023 Penn State Commencement Ceremony. Now, would you all please remove your caps and remain standing if you are able for the singing of the national anthem. Please be seated. Expressing to the graduates how truly proud I am of all of you. Most of you started your college career at the height of the pandemic. Certainly, for sure. But we've all moved through it, learned from it, and perhaps have begun to view life a bit differently. We may prioritize differently, appreciate things differently, value things differently. In fact, your generation in particular certainly changed how we view and respond to mental health challenges. As a result, together we are stronger. And please trust me when I say that when you confront adversity, there is definitely an opportunity to make you more prepared for the bright future that awaits you. Not call attention to some of the graduates who have had to contend with additional challenges while pursuing their degrees. The following people, please raise your hand. Those who have raised families while getting a degree. Those who worked while attending school. Who are veterans. Those who are the first person in your family to attend college. For those of you who were involved in clubs or sports at Penn State Lehigh Valley, congratulations to all of you for making it to this day. Are you excited to join the more than 750,000 Penn Staters worldwide your travels take you, you can yell, "We are!" and be met with the friendly Penn State. A tight-knit global community. You're heading out into the world with a first-rate degree. A brand-name degree will set you up for a long-term professional success where your career path takes you. In addition, your degree also puts you on the path to a good life in general. Research shows that as a college graduate, you'll likely embrace a health, dedicate more time to your community, or become more involved in educational activities with your family. These are all very, very important things. I should also note, for a great future, 50,500 square foot expansion that you see behind me that was started and completed while most of you were here at Penn State Lehigh Valley. I invite you after the ceremony to take your friends and family on a tour of this important new space and know that the student government, SGA, played a critical role in making sure this project was possible. It was their extreme generosity that contributed more than $1.6 million in donation funds for this project. A round of applause. This expansion and the generosity from Penn State students, particularly Penn State Lehigh Valley students, will afford a wonderful college experience space for generations to come. In May, we'll start construction on a new maintenance building. Now, you might not be thinking that a maintenance building is particularly exciting, but I'll tell you why a maintenance building is a wonderful thing for our campus. The presence of this new building is going to free up space in our primary academic building for a new engineering lab for the campus. For our students who are involved in outdoor sports and activities, the maintenance building is going to provide changing rooms and outdoor restrooms for our sports activities, especially for our, which competed in the postseason this year. There are so many things that are going on at the Penn State Lehigh Valley campus that I'm going to mention a few while I have, nobody can take it from me. How about that? Starting fall 2024, we are pleased to add a Bachelor's of Science degree in biology. That will complement the 11 four-year degrees that a student can complete here at our campus. This program will open up a world of opportunity to our students in terms of pathways to careers in healthcare, science, and beyond. This is the criminal justice program that we began offering last fall, and our digital marketing certificate that saw its first cohort of students graduate in the past year and a second cohort this year. Internships with potential employers, many of them through our Penn State Lehigh Valley Launchbox Business Startup Program. We are very excited to be among the first Commonwealth campuses selected to welcome Dr. Neely Bendapudi last year, as she was our president-elect for Penn State. And then she came back to join us as the keynote speaker for our Launchbox Ambassador Circle celebration. Not only was she the featured speaker, but she graciously allowed us to do a lengthy interview with her and a discussion that allowed the community to ask questions and gain insight into what the future holds for Penn State under her leadership. Acknowledge our SGA president, Kriday Sharma. Kriday Sharma from needs to be acknowledged for his leadership and how he grew the Student Government Association. Kriday spoke at the Launchbox event when the president was here, and I can tell you that he is a star on the. We've had a very exciting year under his leadership. This year, there are other students that needed to be and should be highlighted here today, and so I recognize students like Huda Khan and Sabia Kamali, Haya Khan, and Joseph Comfer. They participated in the regional Deloitte undergraduate national case competition at University Park. Not only did they compete, but they took first place, earning the group the distinction of being the first Commonwealth in Penn State at the national competition that was held in Texas earlier this spring. They competed against teams, universities across the campus. And while they didn't win that competition, it was an unforgettable experience and a source of pride for all Penn Staters across the university. Two weeks later, 3 of the team members that went to Texas, Huda, Sabia, competition run by the Smeals Center for the Business of Sustainability. Students have experiential opportunities on a global scale, like Dr. Jackie McLaughlin's annual trip to Bucharest. This year, some of our students also traveled to Scotland to understand the deep implications in their social and cultural context and how they mechanics course recently worked side by side virtually with students from Palestine and Tunisia for 10 weeks, identifying innovative solutions to industry challenges around food delivery, robotics, and other key issues through a partnership with Penn State Edge, an international initiative for the university. More locally, the criminal justice program that I mentioned earlier offered an entire speaker series that brought experts in on topics ranging from crisis negotiation, high-profile FBI cases, to deep dives into the criminal mind. And at every one of those events, the room was packed with people eager to learn and understand from our faculty and to exchange ideas with our students. There's nothing more important than that in an academic setting. Domestic and international students across Penn State campuses, including the Abington campus, Brandywine, Great Valley, the Lehigh Valley, and the Schuylkill campus, joined together for a series of events about mass incarceration in the United States, including a visit to Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia. We have students who care about social issues. We are a university that cares about those issues. Our very own Ron K. DeLong Art Gallery proudly featured a multitude of exhibits, including the fluidity of gender, sculpture, collage, prints, and video exhibition created by New York artist Linda Stein. Linda strives through her art to broaden awareness and inspire empathy by presenting gender multiplicities and diversities. And among this spring we enjoyed the Monologue Collective, traditional analog black and white prints by 9 photographers whose work promotes traditional analog black and white photography and the industry that supports it. We have soccer team finished this season with the best record in our program's history, the PSU-LV championship game, straight year. Women's basketball team advanced to the PSU-LV championship for the second time in 4 years and received a national tournament invitation as the number 4 seed. Share this with you because I'm going to give a shout out to our head coach, Lori Khalil. She was named the USCAA Division II National Coach of the Year. And senior Janelle Oliver is graduating with a stellar 4-year career in a Penn State Lehigh Valley jersey. Janelle is recognized for scoring 1,000 career points and being named PSU-LV All-Conference, USCAA All-American, and she is a Dean's List student. One more detail to that, because some of you may have noticed that we don't have a gym. How can we achieve so much when we have limited resources? Because we have talented students, we have dedicated students, and we have a faculty and staff and a community that supports us like no other. I know you haven't heard enough about our sports activities, so I want to acknowledge senior Sage Christopher, who was named the Fritz Sportsmanship winner this year, USCAA National All-Academic, and he is also a Dean's List student. We are also very proud of the activities around our Penn State Lehigh Valley Launchbox, the business accelerator that I mentioned earlier. This accelerator supports the Lehigh Valley community, all of those individuals who are interested in entrepreneurship. Also, I'd like to offer the utmost praise for our Lehigh Valley campus thon dancers. Together with thousands of Penn Staters across the Commonwealth, the group raised a record $15 million. And that $15 million goes to support pediatric cancer. It is the largest student-run philanthropic group in the world. And to date, it has raised more than $200 million. Students are indeed beyond impressive. And of course, our student affairs and our many student clubs and organizations have something cooking just about every day on campus. From dance and field trips, I know that every student on this campus had an opportunity to make memories that will last a lifetime. We frequently have high-profile visitors to campus, including multiple visits from our very own alumnus, Senator Nick Miller. It was just 6 years ago, Senator Miller attended our commencement as a graduate, just like each and every of you. Today, in fact, he is the youngest member to be elected to the Pennsylvania State Senate in 23 years. Can't wait to see what's on the horizon for each and every one of you. Your path is to be carved in all the unique ways that your passions take you, and you can rely on Penn State and the alumni network and every individual, faculty, staff, and your peers to support you on your journey. But speaking of honored guests, we're looking forward to hearing today's commencement speaker, Penn State College graduate and Chief Executive Officer of Power Your Launch, Abu Fofana. But to start off, handing the mic over to someone beyond the Chancellor, you will have the opportunity to enjoy hearing the words of our student marshal, Alicia Moore. I want to take a few minutes to give you a glimpse into the life of Alicia. Alicia, selected by the executive officers of the campus, representatives, with the input of campus faculty to serve in this honored role. Alicia graduated from our campus with a bachelor's degree of arts in arts administration with a concentration in marketing. Impressively, she also graduated from Parsons, the new school in New York, simultaneously earning credentials in fashion industry essentials with a concentration in social media communications and marketing. As a Coopersburg resident, Alicia served as a peer mentor, tutor, and teacher aide for our Pathway to Success program. She served as a planner for major student events on campus, was a virtual education assistant, and among her many duties in this role, she captioned videos for the hearing impaired. She wasn't done yet. Alicia also interned at our own Ron DeLong Gallery, was a volunteer for the Lehigh Valley Arts Council in Allentown, and she is currently a visitor service and education assistant at the Lehigh University Art Gallery. She held multiple part-time jobs while working her way through college, from retail roles to serving as an insurance agent and a sales representative at Univest and a branch manager at AAA. I don't know how many more things she could have done, but I can tell you that she was an ideal candidate to represent this graduating class. She has multiple professional presentations under her belt, and amongst those topics that she frequently addressed was the issue of diversity, equity, and student success. In addition to our student marshal, we also have the faculty marshal, a full-time faculty member who is chosen by the student marshal to lead the procession in recognition of his or her academic guidance, support, and inspiration. Alicia chose Dr. Liz Flaherty as the faculty marshal this year. Dr. Flaherty is the Associate Teacher Professor for Arts Administration and the coordinator of the Penn State Lehigh Valley Honors Program. Thank you, Dr. Flaherty, for serving in this role. So in the tradition of the student marshal role, Alicia will have the opportunity to provide remarks on behalf of the graduating class. So will you please join me in welcoming Alicia Moore.
Whew, there's a lot of you out there. So let me start off by saying I didn't want to start this speech with a quote because that's so cliche, but I'm going to start with a quote. So this is one I really like, though. It's called "Life isn't about finding yourself, it's about creating yourself. So live the life you imagined." And that's from Henry David Thoreau, brilliant author. So I always imagined living my life surrounded by what I loved. But one day, as I sat in my work cubicle, looked around, and all I saw were graphs and charts, far from what anything I loved. It's actually kind of gross. That's when reality set in. This can't be my destiny. This isn't what I wanted. I don't want to be a life insurance and health insurance agent my whole life. This is definitely not my dream. So that night, I was like, all right. So I sat on my computer, and I thought to myself, who and what do you want to be, Alicia? Not the easiest question to answer. As I continued pondering, my next thought-provoking question was, what do I actually love? With a laugh, I thought about my favorite TV show I was watching at the time, Dexter. For those of you who are not familiar, Dexter was a murderer and worked for Miami Metro as a blood spatter analyst. So I thought, yeah, it's kind of a cool job. I mean, minus the murder. And I thought maybe I would get into blood spatter analyzation. I researched, and in reality, I decided that's way too much math. I don't like math. And way too much blood. Definitely not my favorite thing either. And I hate those stuff more than I hated life and insurance. So I closed my laptop and I looked at an art piece on my wall. And the light bulb went off. That was it. I wanted to be surrounded by art. To do that, I basically needed to start at square one. It's a scary situation, starting all over, giving up my job and going back to school full time. I'm not a traditional student, and I kept telling myself, there's no way you can do this. But I ultimately decided, yeah, I'm going to try. Why not? The life I imagined began to get closer, but it wasn't without stress or obstacles. I made this college decision right as COVID happened. 2 months into classes, after what I was so excited to start, everything went virtual, and I was home. Disappointed, I thought to myself, how are you going to do this? The whole point of going back to school was to totally be immersed in all aspects of school life. It wasn't easy, but despite the pandemic, I decided right away not to let that situation stop me from having the best experience that I could. Even with the highs of COVID, being able to play Animal Crossing all hours of the night, and as well as the lows, including that feeling of being cut off from the rest of the world, I decided that I was going to use this time as an opportunity, and I did as much as I could. I did volunteer work. I filled my summer with things to do around campus. I used the crazy amount of free time I had to my advantage. It isn't that what life should be about, doing what makes you happy and finding a way to make the most of every situation. Luckily, too, though, classes, I formed some wonderful bonds with everyone I came across at campus. Looking at you, Zoe. Connections that are irreplaceable. Chancellor Richardson gives me the best description of my experience at Penn State Lehigh Valley. And her words were, big enough to matter, small enough to care. I love this slogan. I still think she needs to patent that and use it as the school slogan, but that's a story for another time. Penn State and everyone here has made this journey of mine incredible, exactly how I hoped and imagined it would be. An education from one of the best universities in the U.S. with the feel of community and home. I have loved every moment of my time at Penn State Lehigh Valley, and I'm glad the timing happened when it did. The point of what I shared with you today goes directly back to my original statement. You don't find yourself, you create yourself. It all has to do with you. Life is a beautiful thing, and if you can imagine it, you can create it. Thank you, everyone.
So thank you very much, Alicia. Your words were truly inspiring, and thank you for the shout out. We wish you the very best in your endeavors, and no doubt, given all that you have done so far, Your future has a lot of great things in store for you. Another one of our traditions is to have a representative of the Penn State Lehigh Valley Faculty Senate introduce the commencement speaker. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Kermit Burley, lecturer and program coordinator for information technology and cyber analytics and operations, as well as the chair-elect of the Campus Faculty Senate. Please welcome Kermit Burley.
A little bit of age here. So. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. All right, they're ready. I'm very pleased to be here today to introduce this year's commencement speaker. Abu Fofana is a proud 2015 Penn State Schreier's Honors College graduate who would routinely take more than 30 credits in a single semester, which I'm sure most academic advisors would not recommend. But our distinguished guest managed to successfully complete this very full load. Today, he is the Chief Executive Officer of Power Your Launch, a Miami-based education brand aimed at developing technology-focused solutions that help companies monetize their online communities. Fofana introduced the Power Your Launch Virtual Marketing Accelerator in 2019, and it quickly grew to become the largest of its kind. It's helped more than 10,000 entrepreneurs and business owners learn to market online, and ultimately sell. Over the next 5 years, his company is expected to empower nearly 1 million more businesses and entrepreneurial brands by helping them build skill. Fofana's experience has led him to become a highly sought-after speaker, educator, and at institutions such as Harvard Business School, the University of Pennsylvania, Fortune 500 companies, and of course, his alma mater, Penn State University. He is also a nationally recognized social media influencer. His current podcast recently made Forbes' top 10 list, Apple's top 50, and US, the United States Advisor's top 5. In one of his early releases, he talked about some harsh truths he had to tell himself, like the fact that you cannot become great by doing the same thing as everyone else. To reach the uncommon path of greatness, excuses can't exist, and commitment must override inconsistency. He has truly taken this advice to heart, which I am sure you will agree after his address. He is a man who has always said yes, and then worked diligently to figure it out. Before creating Power Your Launch in the House of Fofana brand, Abu worked at a national prominent digital marketing agency producing campaigns that generated millions in visibility and sales. Now, on a more personal level, he believes that family is a big part of success. He is one of 7 children raised by a single mother. As a result, mentorship is extremely important to him, and he understands that it takes a village to open doors along the way. But he also understands that you need to work very hard and use any means necessary to achieve your success. He is a role model, a son, a mentor, and a truly inspirational speaker. I am very pleased and honored to introduce to you Mr. Abu Fofana.
Hello, how is everyone doing today? Good, yes. I'd like to thank Chancellor Richardson, Dr. Torres, the Penn State Lehigh Valley Advisory and alumni board members, distinguished faculty, family, fellow honorees and friends, and of course, most importantly, the class of 2023. I'm honored and grateful for this invitation today. I've done many speeches before, and I have to admit this one was a little hard to write. I wrote 7 rough drafts, and then this morning I just closed my eyes and I picked one. So don't worry, you're not going to hear the one about crypto and NFTs, because none of those things actually exist, as we found out. But what crazy times we live in, right? I was just reading something, and in the last 2 months, we had the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th largest bank failures in U.S. history. I'm not talking about 20 years ago, I'm talking about in the last 60 days. So think about that for a second. There's so much opportunity for you all out here to lead us into a better future. We have artificial intelligence now, and I hear it's supposed to replace humans, right? They said it's so good, in fact, right, it'll take all our jobs. Why read and write when you have ChatGPT? Why go to the doctor when you have Dr. Gupta GPT? Seriously, right? We're living in the future, we just don't know it yet. Or is the future coming a lot quicker with all these new technologies and advancements? 40 years ago, it was a floppy disk. 20 years ago, it was the flip phone. 15 years ago, it was an iPod. 10 years ago, it was self-driving cars. There's this famous movie about a guy who was sent back to the past in the current future he's in because artificial intelligence has declared war on society. And so he goes back in the past and he's assigned to protect the only person who could save humanity. Her name was Sarah Connor. Meanwhile, there's someone else that was sent back to the past to stop him, the Terminator. I've built a time machine to come back to save Sarah Connor, and today, unfortunately, or fortunately, you all are Sarah Connor. So that was a Terminator reference. I know I'm not that old. So it was just a few years ago, I was sitting where many of you are today. And I was trying to figure out so many things. I was anxious, I was excited, I was nervous. I almost didn't attend my own graduation. But when I realized, okay, it's not about me, it's bigger than me. There are other people who helped me along the journey. I realized I had to show up. And ultimately, it's a team effort. I know you all are anxious to get out of here, and supposedly I heard I'm the only thing stopping you from getting out of here. So don't tweet at me. I remember my graduation, I was ready to go. I didn't even remember who my commencement speaker was, but then my friend quickly reminded me it was me. I was my commencement speaker at my graduation. And at that time, there was a phenomenal woman who convinced me to walk and speak at graduation. Her name was Dr. Nicola Gutgold, and she graces your presence here. And unfortunately, she wasn't able to attend today due to unforeseen circumstances. This is actually her first graduation in 28 years that she will have missed. So if you have time today, please send her your thoughts and prayers for a speedy recovery. There were so many people that helped me along my journey. There's another person who drove all the way here today, Melissa Doberstein and her son, Brandon Doberstein. And I'm just so grateful and thankful for you all to make that trip. So life has a funny way to bring you back to where it all started. And for me, it was Penn State. Education was a really, really important part of my journey. My family migrated here from West Africa, one of 7 during the time of the Civil War. And at that time, most people reference it as blood diamonds during the time of the war. And when we came here, my mom applied for a refugee lottery. So some of you are familiar with the lottery. Typically, you win money. But imagine applying for a lottery for your life. And so when my mom came here, we were really, really poor. Whatever poor was in the U.S., we were below that. One of 7, all sleeping in the same bedroom, trying to figure out what we were going to do to survive. My mom was really big on education. She said, hey, it's the greatest equalizer. It's the greatest equalizer. And at that time, it was hard for me to see that because I wanted the new pair of Jordans like everyone else. And she told me, hey, you have to focus on what you have. You have to focus on what you have. So it was challenging. It wasn't easy. The only escape I had at that time was school and the environment. And so my outlet became going to classes and trying to figure it out. And it didn't make it easier that I had a foreign name. My name was Abubakar Fofana, or people call me Abu. And I had a very unique name. So I had to learn in the environment that I was in how to leverage the opportunities. And all I wanted was acceptance when I first got here to this country. I remember distinctly when we first got here, there's this holiday you guys all celebrate, Halloween. So at that time, we didn't know what that was. And I remember walking into my classroom and looking across all the cubicles, and everyone had costumes in it except me. And I thought that morning, like, here we go again, I'm gonna get made fun of. And little did I know, during lunchtime, I come back, look through my cubicle, and there's a costume there. And I didn't know my first grade teacher went to Party City to purchase me a Fred Flintstone costume. And so here was the world I thought was up against me, but there was this woman who decided, you know what, I see something in him. And that was the first time I truly felt like someone had my back. And Jean Meyer, my first grade teacher, she would always tell me, hey, Abu, you can write your ticket anywhere in the world. You just have to put your name on it. So when Sharon Tersha reached out to me to be here today, I took that ticket out and I wrote Penn State Lehigh Valley. So here's what I learned from that experience, right? Good educators teach what's inside of the books. Great educators teach what's outside of it and what you need in order to have a fulfilling life, whatever you see fit. So some of you will go on to be educators, some of you teachers, some of you leaders and businessmen. Whatever it is that you do, ask yourself, am I doing everything I can to make a difference? Because there are times you're gonna think and you're gonna ask yourself, well, does this matter? And in fact, yes, it does matter. That was my beginning. The belief propelled me throughout school as more people came into my corner. Because the neighborhood I grew up in, we were really poor. We didn't think about college. College wasn't an option for us. I thought I was gonna go be a professional athlete or a rapper or a singer, but I couldn't sing. And I remember my guidance counselor at high school at that time, I went to Girard College, and she told me, hey, where do you wanna go? And I'm like, go where? Well, what are you talking about? And I knew I was poor, so I didn't know I could afford college. And she said, hey, but you have the grades, you really work towards this. So I started thinking about college at that time. And by the time I graduated, one of my big goals was, okay, well, if college is on my board, well, how do I get in there? And if I don't have money, how do I make sure I afforded it? So by the time I graduated high school, I received a full academic scholarship and athletic scholarship to Penn State, to the Schreyer Honors College. And that was one of the proudest moments of my life because I remember taking that letter to my mom, and she, it was just, from where we came from, it really meant a lot to her. And I remember my day when I was admitted to Penn State and Honors College. It was a big accomplishment. And I remember not knowing if I'd choose Penn State. So a mentor of mine at that time, Jeff Levin, he offered to take me to open student orientation. I walk in and I said, wow, these kids are really smart. And I didn't know if I could do it. I did not know if I could do it. And I had a feeling of doubt because now I was surrounded with reality and I had to make a decision. And a lot of you all, when you leave here today, you're gonna be surrounded by some of your realities and you have to ask yourself, am I gonna push through? So here's your first lesson, right? Lesson number one, write this down, right? You'll never be 100% ready. And what do I mean by that? And I'm telling you that now because you're about to go into a world where you're going to ask yourself, how did this person get this job leading all these people and they have no idea what to do themselves? And if you wait until you're ready to do something you've never done, you'll be late. So some people think they should start after they get the outcome. Like, okay, I'm gonna get fit and then I'm gonna go to the gym. It doesn't make sense, right? So when it should be, I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna get fit in the process. So if you do it before you're ready, you'll be right on time. You'll find a way to get ready. So my time at Penn State, I was in a business school. I was in Smill Business School, and ultimately I decided to major in supply chain and information systems. And I know many of you have no idea what I'm talking about. And at that time, my summation of what it was is that it's essentially another way of saying I had the skills to work for Amazon or become a CEO, and I chose the latter. And they trained us to think in lean methodology, meaning focusing on what's most important and using data to drive to the outcome. But like many of you, I honestly tried every major. I probably switched over 4 to 5 times before I decided on something. And I thought to myself, does anyone want me? And I'm not gonna lie, right? I almost did not go to college even. I thought, why would I go to college? I could figure this out on my own. I'm smart enough. After I graduated high school, I said, I'm smart enough. And I had my whole speech practiced. I said, you know what, I'm gonna go to my mom and I'm gonna tell her what it is, right? I'm gonna tell her I'm not going to college. And then a few years later, I graduated. And so the valuable lesson here is that there's a saying that parents know best. Seeing that I'm here today, that might be true. But there's another valuable lesson within here too. We don't always get everything that we want, right? We don't always get everything in negotiation, but we should still show up and put our best forth. I graduated Penn State in about 2.5 years. I was taking 30 to 35 credits a semester. I do not recommend. I did not have a life. In fact, when I used to go out to a party, I used to set a timer on my phone. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's time for me to go study now. I was a very different student. I was very, very disciplined. During my time at Penn State, I was involved in a lot of different orgs affiliated with Thon. One of the orgs I was a part of that I really learned a lot from was the Presidential Leadership Academy. It was founded by Mr. and Mrs. Ed and Ellen Hintz, and it was around providing thought-provoking conversations, and the leader and the teacher of that class was the president of Penn State. And so this was really great conversation about the gray area. And what you'll realize in life, it's not always black and white. There's a lot of gray that you have to navigate through as well. So during my time there, I really got into entrepreneurship. One of the businesses I started was a clothing business called Motivational Apparel, which stood for MOAP. I started it my freshman year. By the time I was a sophomore, I had 16 employees, and we were making anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000 a month as a college student. Like I said, I was a very different student in college. We had an article written about us at Philadelphia Inquirer, and the headlines read, "The next Nike lives at Penn State." We even had commercials that were ran during the Penn State football games. So here I was actually applying what I was learning in the classrooms. So a lot of times the professors gave me an excuse to not be there because I would go, I would learn, and then I would literally apply it in real time. And at the end of the day, I thought, well, if I fail to chase my interest and my passions, then I'll leave out with the same thing everyone else came here for, which was a degree. But if I could push myself and push my limit in the process of something I'm interested in, then, I will leave with more confidence and a lot better learning at that time. So my second lesson for you all is never do the bare minimum. In anything you do. How you do one thing is how you'll do a lot of things. So if you do the bare minimum, you'll get the same experience as everyone else. But if you create the experience you want, then you'll get way more out of it. And so I'm here today to also tell you about what to expect after graduation. When I was asked to speak here today and be the commencement speaker, I was honored. Who am I to speak? Typically, at these things, the speaker is much older. I meant wiser, much wiser. Me, I'm not much older than you. In fact, I think that's the very reason they asked me to come here today and speak. Us young folks can really make a difference. We have a unique way of thinking about things. We're scrappy, we're innovative, and of course, we know how to use Microsoft Excel. We can make a difference. The old way of thinking is on its way out, and the world needs our creativity. When I graduated, I thought the purpose was to make a lot of money by any means necessary. I mean, I grew up poor, so I thought about money, and I could make money, then I could help my family. And I remember when I graduated, I signed an offer sheet working at a Big Four consulting, PwC, or PricewaterhouseCoopers. And that was, at that time, it was $65,000. And that was, at that time, the most my family had ever seen. My mom's ever only made $30,000 a year. She's never made more than that. So I remember bringing her the offer sheet, and she's like, oh, you have to accept. This is a great opportunity. And she told the next door neighbor told the next door neighbor, and eventually I was a $65,000 man, right? I'd walk around the neighborhood, they'd be like, hey, that's the 65K man. And I remember quickly doing the math when I got my offer sheet. I said, okay, in 20 years, making 65K, I'll be a millionaire. But I didn't account for taxes, because it comes and it takes half of that. And then I had to go back to my calculations, and I was like, okay, maybe 40 or 60 years. But I felt like I didn't have time to wait that long. I wanted my parents to enjoy the fruits, and to be honest, I wanted to enjoy the fruits now too. I mean, I just graduated. I was tired. We did a lot, right? I was tired. I remember how miserable I was doing the things I didn't want to do in order to get something I truly didn't even know why I wanted. And so in life, you'll do that. You'll go down this path that seems very conventional, and you'll realize you're a very unconventional person. And so you start on this path and you forget the reasons why you even started to begin with. So a mentor of mine who's no longer here but was a crucial guide and light to me was Mr. Chuck James. And he would always say, remember that when you leave this earth, you could take with you nothing that you've received, only what you've given. So what is the gift you're going to leave the world? Most notable men and women in history, the ones you come study and admire, contribute their gifts. So the third lesson for you all is find or develop your gifts, because it'll give you purpose, and purpose will give you insight, and insight will give you foresight. So you'll begin to start seeing opportunities that no one else could see because your gifts were given to you. When I focused on my gifts, hear me out, I began to have a larger impact. I helped so many people unknowingly. The underlying effect was it made me a lot of money. So all those years trying to devise a plan, doing the calculations to make more money, to figure things out, I decided to focus on what my gifts were. And when I did, it took me 12 months to make $1 million in sales before turning 26. So I did it. And then I thought, well, what will I do for the next 40 years? So let me clarify. When I say gifts, I mean God-given or skills that you develop along the way. My skills were developed, and I spent a lot of time crafting and focusing on developing new and in-demand skills. So here's your fourth lesson for you all. Kindness goes further than being smart. Choose to be kind when you're in a situation. My first job after graduation, I thought I was the smartest person in the world. I mean, that's what you think when you graduate from Penn State. My peers and all of us, we thought the world revolved around us. The world revolved around us. We carried ourselves in that way. But some of us didn't believe or subscribe to this notion. And in life, it's a dangerous game to only be kind to people you know you could get something from. And what's worse is only being kind to people who have a higher title than you. So as everyone was trying to network up and play this dangerous game, I decided to opt out. I used to stay late at the office every day, and I remember working out one day, and someone beat me to the gym. I'm like, who beat me to the gym? And there was this guy bench pressing, so I came to help him out, and he was working late, and so was I, and this became our routine over time. One day, the company was having an event, and I see the same guy, but this guy now is taking out the trash. He's cleaning up the event. And I thought to myself, oh my God, that's the maintenance guy. That's the guy I've been in the gym with, working out, trying to get strong. And I could see my peers at that time crowding the managers of the company and executives during happy hour and being extremely rude to the maintenance guy. This guy was my friend. And I stayed after the event to help him out because I kind of felt bad. And I said, hey, I didn't know you worked here. I didn't know you worked in maintenance. And he told me, well, this was a last-minute event and that some of his staff couldn't make it, so he decided to take the shift. And I would then find out that he was actually the CEO of the maintenance company. And then I would then find out that the guys that employed him were peers of his that he went to school with. And he said, hey, which manager or CEO do you want to meet? And so that was a very valuable lesson for me. You never know who's around you or who you're having a conversation with, so choose to be kind. Kindness goes further than only being smart. Here's your fifth lesson. Your path to success is not linear. There's no right or wrong path, there's just your path. In the world we live in, comparison is a thief of joy. I get on Instagram this morning and I'm like, man, that sounds like a good life. That looks like a good life. It's hard not to feel like you're doing wrong things sometimes, or you're not living to your potential. But believe me when I say it might not make sense when you're in the yak, but the dots only connect looking backwards. Even though you're a computer engineer, you may not know that one calligraphy class you took would inspire you to one day start Apple and revolutionize the world. Just ask Steve Jobs. Or that one acting class you need to meet your Gen Ed credits would inspire you to become one of the most successful actors in the world. Just ask Denzel Washington. For me, it was a clothing brand. I started when I was on campus and I didn't know how it would later play a major role in my life. It taught me everything I know about business now. It taught me how to work with people, how to sell to customers, how to serve people, how to manage a team in adversity. This would lead me to another thing, moving abroad to study fashion design in Italy after graduation and work for the Versace family. And that would lead me to another thing, being invited to help under the Obama administration, an initiative called Opportunity at Work in DC. When you look at my resume, none of it makes sense. I was living an unconventional life, which presented me with unconventional opportunities. What that did for me was give me more exposure than I could imagine. And that growth is why I'm here today. It would have taken me years to be here if I took the conventional path, to be right here in front of you. And many of you think there's only one way to do it, and I promise you there's not. Think about this. If you told me 10 years ago that the son of an immigrant would come to America and have these opportunities and be here in front of you telling my story, I would have told you, you were crazy, right? There's something that gets lost on me at times because I've done a lot of different things. And despite that, I'm so hard on myself. I know you are too. One of my mentors, Ms. Doberstein, and I'm paraphrasing, she would always tell me in between classes, I would go to classes and I would come in her office when I was a student, and she would always tell me, success is not how far you get, but the distance you traveled from where you started. So travel far and travel across. And your sixth lesson, and my final lesson, is actually for the parents. You'll never know what your child is capable of if you do not give them the space to try, to fail, and to succeed. Remember, amateurs built the Ark, but professionals built the Titanic. Think about that. I'll let y'all simmer on that. So when we wanted to learn how to drive, you got in the car, you started by showing us what to do, and then we traded places. Together, we learned, and eventually we got it right. You knew you weren't always going to be on every car ride with us. You gave us the best training so we could get in the car and navigate alone. You held our hands, and we were very appreciative of that. With your help, we got another accomplishment together. Now we've reached a big test where we have to go out there on our own and kind of figure things out to prove to ourselves that we're more than capable of. You know, although Ms. Doberstein, when it was best for me, or my mom, or my mentor, my first grade teacher, but if they had continued to shield me from the world, then they would have limited me. So your job here is done. And if you just for one moment put your phones down and look up, you'll notice a job well done. So to wrap things up, to the graduating class of 2023, you're gonna go out into the world and think you should have it all figured out. And I'm here to tell you that you won't. You're gonna go out in the world and think that you can't make mistakes, and I'm here to tell you that you can. People will tell you what you're not capable of, but you have to have strong convictions in your own abilities. Listen, I don't know what the future holds, but I know who holds it. It's you. So congratulations, God bless you, and thank you once again.
Thank you, Abu. What a wonderful and highly motivating message. If we didn't have degrees to confer, I would say, okay, let's just go home. But we have some more work to do, but I can tell you that the idea that each and every one of our graduates has the opportunity for unconventional opportunities, if you lean into it, is incredibly important as a takeaway. I am not going to skip over the fact that, you know, as the mother of a college student, Abu gave me some advice about how to love, motivate, and support, and get out of the way. So I'm just going to take that advice as a personal message to me. I'm not going to say anything about the other parents in the room. But what a powerful message, and what powerful opportunities exist for you as graduates. So now we're going to move to the reason we're all here today, to confer degrees. To confer your degrees. So I'm going to be a little bit bossy in my role and just say we will be taking individual pictures of the graduates, and as their names are announced, and those pictures will be available to families. So I ask that families, the family and friends, to remain in your seats. I know this is a hard thing, to remain in your seats while we confer the degrees. Next, we would like to bring to the attention of our high-achieving students, we would like to bring to your attention our high-achieving students, the ones whom you may have noticed are wearing cords. Students who are graduating, excuse me, summa cum laude, are wearing a blue and white cord. Students who are graduating magna cum laude are wearing a blue cord. And students who are graduating cum laude are wearing a white cord. Please hold your applause until all students in all three categories are standing. Will those students graduating summa cum laude, all of you who can, please rise and remain standing? Will those students graduating magna cum laude, all who can, please rise and remain standing? Will those students graduating magna cum laude, all who can, please rise and remain standing? Now, all those who are graduating cum laude, please rise if you are able. This is a distinguished group of individuals. All of our graduates are very accomplished and distinguished, but please help me congratulate all of these students who are standing and wish them the best in terms of success and continued excellence. Please be seated.
Great job, Denise!
At this time, I would like to bring attention to our military students. Students who are wearing red, white, and blue military honor cords, have honorably served and are serving or are commissioned to serve in the U.S. military. Will these students please rise? We would like to recognize you for your service and to express gratitude for your sacrifice. Now, I would like to introduce our Director of Academic Affairs, Dr. Anibal Torres Bernal, who will present the graduates today.
Will the candidates for the associate degree at Penn State University please rise? Chancellor Richardson, on behalf of the faculty, I'm pleased to present this candidate who has met the requirement for the associate degree in their major.
By the virtue of the authority vested in me and as approved by the Board of Trustees of the Pennsylvania State University, I authorize you as a designee of President Neely Bendapudi to confer on the candidates the associate degree earned as certified by the appropriate college, faculty, and dean.
Will the candidates for the baccalaureate degree at Penn State University please rise? Chancellor Richardson, on behalf of the faculty, I am pleased to present these candidates who have met the requirements for the bachelor degree in their majors.
By the virtue of the authority vested in me and as approved by the Board of Trustees of Pennsylvania State University, I authorize you as a designee of President Neely Bendapudi to confer on each of these candidates the baccalaureate degree earned as certified by the appropriate college, faculty, and dean.
Thank you. Will the candidates be seated? Now, will the candidate for the associate degree and the candidates for bachelor degree at Penn State University please come to the stage as your roll is called and receive your diploma as your name is read. As you return to your seat, please be seated. Denise Fleck, with an associate degree in business, summa cum laude. Tasjane Moore, with a major in arts administration. Zoe O'Grady, with a major in arts administration. Carmen Abu Yuneb, with a major in biobehavioral health, minor in psychology. Trina Nicole Campano, with a major in biobehavioral health. Alisa Nicole Chirombolo, with a major in biobehavioral health, cum laude. Chanel Miriam Hadid, with a major in biobehavioral health. Alice Maykuth, with a major in biobehavioral health. Ian Richelli, with a major in biobehavioral health. Araya Buri, with a major in business. David Brooks, with a major in business. Aisha Kapeshi with a major in business. Charbel Fostakaji with a major in business. Colin Hoff with a major in business. Justin Hobbs with a major in business. Travis Jojo Baini with a major in business, minor in project and supply chain management. Cody Harrisco with a major in business. Kyle James Hughes with a major in business. Joshua Daniel Heisen with a major in business. Lori Casolin with a major in business. Jenna Nicole Kurtz, major in business, sum cum laude. Joseph Marte with a major in business. Arian Ketan Patel with a major in business. Shell Gopal Patel with a major in business and a major in project and supply chain management, certificate in SAP. Brianna Kristen Peters with a major in business, magna cum laude. Vanessa Rodriguez with a major in business. Christopher James Fidoni with a major in business. Adam Windakov with a major in business. Ramon Farley Jr., major in corporate communication. Jennifer Garcia, with a major in corporate communication. Caleb Joseph Goodman, major in corporate communication, magna cum laude. Victoria Lotwick, with a major in corporate communication. Alexandra Quinn, with a major in corporate communication, minor in business. Melanie Reyes, with a major in corporate communication, minor in business, magna cum laude. Janelle Nicole Oliver, with a major in cybersecurity, analytics, and operations. Dawn Fan, with a major in cybersecurity, analytics, and operations. Nicole Marie Fix, with a major in health policy and administration, minor in business. Juliet Mercado, with a major in health policy and administration. Caitlin Anaya Rodriguez, with a major in health policy and administration, minor in business, cum laude. Mihir Rubindra Bapat, with a major in information technology, minor in security and risk analysis, magna cum laude. Kevin Batista, with a major in information technology, cum laude. Nirvan Madanko Popal Gupta, with a major in information technology, minor in security and risk analysis. William Robert Howley, with a major in information technology, minor in security and risk analysis, cum laude. Oscar Isaula, with a major in information technology, minor in security and risk analysis. Colin Joseph, with a major in information technology. Shoka Pramod Kulkarni, with a major in information technology, minor in operations and supply chain management, and minor in business, magna cum laude. Natalie Mamari, with a major in information technology. Kyle Micheli, with a major in information technology. Brandon Anthony Millon, with a major in information technology, minor in security and risk analysis, and a minor in business, cum laude. Gavin Nigel Palmer, major in information technology. Stosh Hunter Prosky, with a major in information technology. Alana Eden George, with a major in project and supply chain management. Jonathan Richard Kopchak, with a major in project and supply chain management, cum laude. Christopher Lee, major in project and supply chain management. Zachariah Limani, with a major in project and supply chain management, cum laude. Luan Nguyen, with a major in project and supply chain management, certificate in SAP. Derek Anthony Rivera, with a major in project and supply chain management. Mas Sidikui, with a major in project and supply chain management. Francesca Josefina Almanzar Rubiera, with a major in psychology, minor in rehabilitation and human services. Caitlin Elizabeth Carlin, with a major in psychology, minor in rehabilitation and human services, magna cum laude. Esmeralda Concepcion, with a major in psychology, minor in rehab and human services. Chonsko with a major in psychology, minor in rehabilitation and human services. Trinity Flores with a major in psychology, minor in rehab and human services. Yasmin Herrera with a major in psychology. Hannah Mackenzie Irwin with a major in psychology. Michael Natal Jr., major in psychology. Aisha Ali with a major in psychology. Stephanie Cotter, major in psychology, cum laude. Thank you. Megan Moore, major in psychology, minor in rehab and human services, magna cum laude. Fernando Manuel Gaton Vidó, major in psychology. Miranda Sage Hirsch, major in psychology, cum laude. Gina Marie Kitwell with a major in psychology. Brandon Van Lovereen with a major in psychology. Daniela Elizabeth Vargas, major in psychology. Nicholas Coleman, major in rehab and human services, certificate in chemical dependency. Sarah Esper, major in rehab and human services. Grace Fuchelaro, major in rehab and human services, minor in psychology. Gianna Gomez with a major in rehab and human services. Bridget Rose Jones, major in rehab and human services, minor in psychology. Jamie Lee Nostine, with a major in Rehab and Human Services. Delilah Amber Oyola, with a major in Rehab and Human Services. Christina Faye Reed, with a major in Rehab and Human Services, minor in Psychology. Tyler Tinknell, major in Rehab and Human Services, minor in Psychology. James Kohler, major in Business. Oh, there we go. I know her name, I don't know her name. Alicia Moore, major in Arts Administration. Will all the graduates please rise? On the motherboard, we have a tassel, its position as an indication of the person's graduation status. When you enter the ceremony today, graduates, you have your tassel on your right. Now that you have graduated, I invite you to shift your tassel to the left side of the motherboard. Shift it. Ladies and gentlemen, may I proudly present the Penn State Lehigh Valley class of 2023. You may now return to your seat as I turn the program back to Chancellor Richardson.
Thank you, Dr. Torres. I have to tell you that there is nothing more exciting in higher ed than graduation day. The opportunity to recognize our graduates, to acknowledge the hard work and dedication and the support that was extended by faculty and staff, and to know that we had fun doing it even though we had to work hard, is absolutely what higher ed is all about. So as noted in the program, the mace is carried at the head of the academic procession and symbolizes the authority of the university. Carrying the mace is a privilege that is reserved for our most senior faculty member, our campus marshal, Dr. Roger Egoff. Dr. Roger Egoff is an associate professor of chemistry at Penn State Lehigh Valley, and we thank you, Dr. Egoff, for serving as our campus marshal. Now we have several faculty recognitions that I would like to make at this time. Would the following faculty please stand as I call your name? Dr. Jeff Stone, Michelle Kashak, Dr. Ely, and Dr. McLaughlin. Will you please stand? On behalf of President Neely Bendapudi and the Penn State Lehigh Valley community, I would like to congratulate Dr. Jeff Stone, who was granted tenure and promoted to Associate Professor of Information Sciences and Technology last year after our commencement ceremony, so we are acknowledging him here today. And although he couldn't be present, we want to recognize him. Dr. Julie Ely and Jackie McLaughlin, on behalf of President Neely Bendapudi, it is my privilege to inform you that you have been promoted to the rank of full professor at Penn State University. Dr. McLaughlin was promoted to this rank in biology, and Dr. Ely was promoted to this rank in chemistry. I'd like to acknowledge that this is an impressive accomplishment because only a small fraction of the university faculty members are promoted to full rank. So congratulations. Equally important, I'd also like to congratulate Michelle Kashak, who was just promoted to Associate Teaching Professor of English this year. This is also an important accomplishment. So at this time, I'd like to introduce you to Todd Dietrich, President of the Penn State Lehigh Valley Alumni Society, for a very special portion of our program. Todd is also a proud Penn State alumnus who received his Information Science and Technology degree from the university in 2004 and is currently a Senior Project Manager at Santa Commerce, a company local to the Lehigh Valley. Please join me in welcoming Todd Dietrich.
Congratulations, class of 2023. I'm excited here representing the Penn State Lehigh Valley Alumni Society. The Penn State Alumni Association celebrates your successes and welcomes you into a proud and very extensive network of Penn Staters. More than 175,000 alumni and friends like you maintain their deep connections to our world-class university through membership in the Penn State Alumni Association. With your graduation, the Alumni Association is pleased to present you with a free membership for your first year. Your membership keeps you in touch with Penn State and connects you with more than 300 geographically dispersed alumni chapters, interest groups, and college and campus alumni societies. I invite you, once you're settled, to reach out to your local Penn State alumni chapter. Your Penn State family will be happy to hear from you. And in the coming years, when you visit the University Park campus, we invite you to visit us at the Hintz Family Alumni Center. With that, we would like to ask our new graduates to please rise if you're able. And would all other Penn State alumni here today please rise if you're able. It gives me great pleasure to induct all graduating students of the Pennsylvania State University into the Penn State Alumni Association. Welcome to the Penn State alumni family, and congratulations.
You may please be seated. Thank you so very much, Todd. With the end of the ceremony approaching, I would like to acknowledge a few individuals who helped make this event a success. Thank you to Tasana Flynn for assisting us with signing services for the hearing impaired. And also, thank you. And also thank you to someone who has become known to us as Dan Z. Dan Z. Johnson, for providing first-class photography services. In order for an event of this magnitude to come together, it takes a dedicated committee of faculty and staff who met throughout the year to plan all the particulars. So will all those individuals on the commencement committee please rise to be recognized? Many thanks to the commencement committee, led by Sandy Kyle, Danielle Fondo, and Kermit Burley, as well as to our StratCom team, facilities, IT, and the mic. It's the combination of all these teams working for countless hours, attending to every detail that ensured that we all had a wonderful experience today. So a special thanks also to our students, faculty, and staff volunteers who also helped make today possible. I believe everyone did a great job, and so please join me in applauding everyone for their time and effort. And if this were a different type of event, I would have strongly recommended to our distinguished speaker, Abu Fofana, to drop the mic. But given that that is not the event that we're at, I want to thank him for his very inspiring words of advice and for sharing his journey, his Penn State journey with us. Thank you. And finally, thank you to everyone in attendance today for sharing in this special day. I have attended many commencement ceremonies, and they never fail to inspire me. Commencement is a reminder of why I pursued a career in higher education leadership and why I love my job every day. Now, with the conclusion of our ceremony, Campus Marshal, Dr. Egoff, will lead the platform party, the faculty, the staff, and the students for the last time in today's recessional. Will the audience please stand and remain standing at your seats until all of the graduates have left the area? Graduates, this is the last big assignment that I'm going to give you. The last big assignment. I know you can pass this. Please remain in line during the recessional. I know it's tempting, but please remain in line during the recessional until reaching the reception area. Congratulations to the class of 2023. You are truly an impressive group of graduates. Our campus community looks forward to seeing where your endeavors lead you and what platforms you stand on. Please stand. To everyone, there will be refreshments available inside after the ceremony, and I hope you join us for that. Finally, the ceremony will close with the singing of the Penn State alma mater. The words of the alma mater can be found on the inside cover of your program. Thank you all for attending.